Hello friends, this is the 16th and the last lecture on culture and anarchy. We are concluding, as you can see the title is Latin and it is read Poro unum est necessarium. It is necessarium, necessity. What is needed, needful. Est means is. That est is in Indo-European languages. All the Indo-European languages you will see est, is, est, ist, and different forms. Est, different forms you find ist, ust, like that. So this is an Indo-European form of is. So est, Latin. Unum means one. Unanimous means one. Anima, both are Latin, means one voice. Anima means soul. So one voice means one soul. So one thing still, the translation is still, one thing is necessary. So we have come through 4 chapters, isn't it? We saw sweetness and light, doing as one likes. Then we saw the necessity, the division of the society. And again we saw that Hebraism and Hellenism, both are necessary, we saw, and the role played by Saint Paul in Hebraising Christianity, and also Puritanism, not role played by any role played by Saint Paul and Puritanism, not that, but played by him in Hebraising tendency. And then also we saw the Hellenizing tendency. Isn't it? What is Hellenizing is Renaissance. As we can see, the expression of Hellenizing you will find in Renaissance. So now both are necessary, as you can see the summary of this lesson and the summary of this chapter and the summary of the whole thing you can see in this. The real unum est necessarium for us is to come to our best self, not ordinary self, not inferior self, but best self, at all points, not one or two, but all points. Devotion, dedication, spontaneity, free play of thought, emotion, also obedience to law, love of God, love of neighbor, all this. A true harmonious human perfection. A true harmonious human perfection. Understand? Harmonious development of ourselves. Each one should develop ourselves. Harmonious means not one-sided. As you can see, St. Paul's teachings and writings, you will find this one-sided. Isn't it? We saw it earlier, but once again, how is it one-sided? For example, another point about St. Paul is that St. Paul was, of course, a great apostle. And he wrote great epistles. Great apostle wrote great epistles. The grandeur of the Pauline grandeur, we can say. The Pauline profound power and originality. His masterly analysis. You can see all this in his classic. He has written many epistles. The classic is. This classic you can say is the Romans. And then what happens there is, you have Puritanism, absolute and you can say final. The one thing necessary for the apostle is grace, faith, election, justification and righteousness. The interesting thing is that if you could get it straight away like this, grace, faith, election, justification, righteousness, from the mouth of this great apostle, it would have been alright. But what we get is in the form of caricature, as you will find in Puritanism and certain other sects, Christian sects. So what you find is a caricature of that, what you get. For the mechanical way of interpreting what St. Paul said. Just take the example of Pauline idea of resurrection. Pauline idea of resurrection has been misinterpreted. Yes, that is coming back to life after physical death. That is, and the only interpretation is that. But actually, according to certain Bible scholars, a number of them, they say that that could be one. But the main idea, see, the main teaching of St. Paul is that before physical death, that is a rising to a new life before your physical life, death. That is the Pauline idea of resurrection. What happens to the other thing, grace, faith, etc., etc.? Based on those ideas, a set of petrified rules and regulations have been made, putting the human soul in the prison and captivity, a chained soul, we find. But actually it is not so. See that? So I told you the mechanical interpretation of resurrection. That is rising to life after physical death. But actually it should be rising to a new life before the physical death of the body, not after it. This is the soul of his teaching. All his teachings move with such incomparable emotional eloquence. See that? Incomparable emotional eloquence around this idea. This is the central point around which the grand Pauline idea of Christian resurrection is to be interpreted. And instead of that, what happens is that we have made a caricature of it. So you think about the physical death, sleeping for some time and getting up. Then you hear the bugle sound of the angels. But why can't we think like this? When you are alive, when we are alive, that is what will happen is new life. That will be the one thing necessary, that is harmonious development. See that barbarians, Philistines and the populace, they should accept this as the one thing necessary, instead of going after slavish observance of laws. Mechanical and remote idea, distorted and perverted ideas of resurrection and the like. But this is what people do. So what happens is, the result is anarchy. Or you will find the result is just one-sided development. One-sided. So what we should do is get rid of this. Have clear reason. Use your intelligence. For that, what will happen? What will come to us? Hellenism will come. Hellenizing instinct should get into this. Hellenism opposes all such dark ideas of life. Essential in Hellenism is the impulse for the development. Development of what? The whole man, not the spiritual side alone. Not this caricature of a spiritual side. If it would have been rightly understood, it would have been alright. But what you get is only the caricature of a spiritual life. Isn't it? Hellenism was. And also the whole man. Connecting and harmonizing. Linking. Bringing together. And harmonizing. Are the whole part of him. Perfectly all. Leaving none to take their chance. This is Hellenism. Not just a spiritual caricature of a spiritual development. The whole part of human being. Hebraism, or as we have seen, only one part. It's only one part of it. The spiritual, the obedience to law. Even that taken to such extremes. You know how the Pharisees used to conduct their daily life. For each hour or each half hour they had a law. They had to follow a law. How to wash your face. See? How to put on a cloth. How to wear, what you should wear. For all these things are laws. That's why Jesus came as a revolutionary in that society. So he was actually the embodiment of culture, development of personality, the whole man. That's the Hebraism only one. So what happens is Plato, quoting Plato, he quotes, Mathew quotes Plato, and Plato says, forever, through all the universe, you will find this done. The tendency forever, through all the universe, you will find, what will you find? The universe is, the universe tends towards that which is lovely, that which is beautiful. So in the beginning of the universe, past, present and future, according to Plato, there is a tendency to move towards the lovely things of the universe. And what is lovely thing? Harmonious development. Development, the one thing that is necessary. Hellenism actually serves to complement Hebraism. We don't say that Hebraism is not necessary. Hebraism should be thrown out, or Hebraism is against human growth. No. It contributes to peace. It contributes to culture, development of man. But the problem with Hebraism is it's one-sided. But that shouldn't be. So Hellenism also should come in. What do you think of Hellenism, or what comes to your mind when you think of Hellenism? Perfection at all points. Encouraging spontaneity of consciousness. What is spontaneity of consciousness means? Not restricted, unnecessarily restricted by laws. That shouldn't be. Like the growth of children, should allow them spontaneous expression of their feelings. Children, at the time of children. Instead of what happens, you can see at home, if you know, if you have got small children at home, the elders will say, the elder people will say, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this like that. The spontaneity is blocked. It shouldn't be. If no spontaneity, no freedom. If no freedom, no new thoughts. If no new thoughts, no culture, no civilization. That's the point. Therefore, so perfection at all points, encouraging spontaneity and letting free play of thoughts. Art, for development of art, there should be free play of thought. Life and it should live and flow around all our activity. Free play of thoughts. Live and move around. Flow around all our activity. You can see at the end of this, Mathew Arnold compares the British and the Greeks. He says British freedom, British industry, British muscularity. He says, we have all these things, but nobody appreciates that. We cannot influence the world. Nobody is interested in it. Nobody shows interest in us. Why? The reason Mathew Arnold says is, we means the British, not myself, the British. The British, what do? They do these things mechanically. That is the thing. They do these things as a means to an end, not sincerely. For example, simple example I tell you, if a teacher teaches for the salary, that's mechanical teaching. All the time he is worried about increments, then his salary, basic pay, house rent and things like that. So that's mechanical, and no, I don't think after some days students will definitely understand. So he is not doing this work sincerely. But if there is somebody, I don't know, you should not think about management, not just for that sake. You forget about everything when you stand in the class, and then just you melt yourself in your subject and for the students. Then what will happen? You feel some enthusiasm and energy. Sometimes you will find teachers after taking class, they come exasperated and tired. It's because maybe, please don't misunderstand me, because I was also a teacher. It's because probably they do it mechanically. But if you do it as it comes, as a, not as a profession, but as a vocation, I don't think that even if you spend your energy, your physical energy, still you will come out of a class with enthusiasm and with high spirits. The reason is this. One of the reasons. I don't say this is the only reason. But I took this example just because to show you how to do a thing mechanically and how to do a thing with all sincerity and commitment. That's the thing, commitment. So what happens is that, what should we do is, the British, I was talking about the British freedom. But it is that, look at this. The harmonious human perfection, the aim should be that, whatever work you do, to set our work in motion and guide, that is, what should guide you? This. What should give you the prime movements? The prime mover should be the harmonious human perfection. But you can see, you will find the ideal, see, the Greek freedom and the Greek gymnastics, you will see, admired all over the world. Because it's the idea is the ideal of complete human perfection and happiness. The Greek freedom and the Greek gymnastics is, so there's a harmonious blend and ideal for complete human perfection. So, harmonious perfection of humanity. And therefore, the Greek freedom, the Greek gymnastics, the Greek ideal of human perfection, these are made around the world. A free play of thought, spontaneity of consciousness, sweetness and light. Understand? So what happens, what we need is culture. A resurrection, the diseased spirit of our times. This is what Mathew knows. The diseased spirit, the sick and dead and dying. April is the cruelest month, breeding lilacs out of the dead land. Listen. Mixing memory and desire, stirring dull roots with spring rain. So he says, even if you do anything to these people, they are unable to receive it. They are in a permanent, they are under a permanent anesthesia. Because our time, we are in a diseased spirit of our times. We are surrounded by, or we are influenced by, or our life is being corroded, we can see. It's a corrosive effect. Diseased spirit of our time. So what is required? One thing needful, true human perfection. For true human perfection, harmonious perfection of all the points, the whole man, what is required is a very beautiful combination of Hebraism and Hellenism, not just one. So what is pro unum est necessarium? What is that thing that you need today? A harmonious blend of Hebraism and Hellenism. For a harmonious, perfect, harmonious development of the whole of man, the whole of man. That is, so not part, but the whole. Not just mechanical, but a commitment. So the whole. That's the important. So the harmonious development of ourselves, for which we require the grand ideas given to us by Saint Paul. The Pauline ideals, which he has given us with great power and originality, with incomparable emotion and eloquence. That's one side, not a caricature of that. The other, all the free play of thought, spontaneity, and freedom which should live and flow around all the activities of human beings. Then that is culture. So with this we come to an end. I hope you have been enjoying and following my lectures on culture and anarchy. Also we have done a good work on the study of poetry by Mathew Arnold. Both these can say together, that will give you the magnificence, can say. The magnificence and the splendid and magnificent power of Mathew Arnold and his writings. Of great help, not only for students, as I told you right from the very beginning, but for all of us. So it will be a very constructive exercise if you could find time to read both this, that is, study of poetry, and also, you remember that charlatanism and so on, and also this piece, this brilliant piece, this classic, that is culture and anarchy. Of course, from here you start Culture is Ordinary by Raymond Williams. That's a different. So till we do come again for our next class. Bye, have a nice time, enjoy your life. Okay.